From Chicago's Can TV, a look at the week's events is reported in the newspapers, in the blogs and online, and on radio and TV. This is Chicago Newsroom.
Hi, welcome to the show. I'm Ken Davis. A very happy Thanksgiving to you. We are thankful for a lot of things here at the old show, here at the little newsroom. We've had a very good year, and we're looking forward to a bigger and better one next year. And we're really thankful to the Can TV crew, this great crew that puts this show on the air every week for us, and we really need to say thanks to them. But after this election, if the stats are to be believed, we're also very thankful for young people. They came out in almost record numbers, and they made their voices heard even though everybody was predicting that they weren't going to. So today we thought we'd open up the show to a few people from the next generation to find out how they're feeling about the world that us guys are leaving behind. The planet, let's check it off. The planet is heating up, resources are diminishing, there are way more people than there are jobs on the planet. So good luck with that, kids. But you know, that is a funny thing about life. It replenishes itself every 20 years or so, and those new people who come in bring new ideas, as we would like to believe we did in, you know, the 60s and 70s or whatever. So we brought in some young Chicagoans today for this Thanksgiving program to say hi and introduce ourselves to one another and ask you to be gentle to us as we exit the stage. So there are lots of you, and it's going to be hard to figure everybody out. So we did something we've never done before. We're making some name tags. You can fold them and put your own name tags up there, okay? And our guests are Katherine Iorio. She is a longtime Chicagoan, she tells us, majoring in journalism at Columbia College at Chicago. She reports for Chicago Talks and for the Chicago Phoenix, and is an intern investigative reporter over at Channel 2, CBS 2. So really great to have a journalist with us today. Thank you, Katherine. Paris Jackson's joining us, according to the official description placed in front of me, a junior and psychology major at DePaul University, a youth commissioner for Mikva Challenge, a great organization that works with high school and college students and works with the mayor on policies related to youth, including things like free bus fare for low-income students, and our first ever representative of the mayor right here on the program. So we're glad to have you with us also, Paris. Cristina Perez joining us. Cristina is Elections in Action Director at Mikva Challenge, and I know we'll ask you about that a little bit later on today, but you work with young people of all sorts, trying to get them into the political process.
Exactly. So high school students mostly who are interested in getting involved with the election, and you know, our motto is, even though you can't vote does not mean that you cannot influence or impact an election or impact our communities, and so, you know, it's important to get them involved. There
you go. See, she just jumped right in with her plug, so that's great. But let's not forget Dakota. Dakota's here. Dakota Loesch is a freelance writer and a filmmaker.
Sure.
You grew up in the Chicago suburbs, it says here, and lived in the city for a decade by choice, not by laziness.
Absolutely, yeah. Wouldn't rather be anywhere else.
And we can't pass up the fact that you're also a songwriter for Animal City.
Animal City, that's it. Yeah, we got a sock hop once a month
Chicago
down at Cafe Mustache.
Oh,
Put on your best duds and come dance.
This is turning into Plug City. Yeah. I can see it.
Wait till I start my product placements. I got a new vitamin water coming out.
Yeah. Great, and a new fragrance, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
All right, okay. Now let's at least try to begin with something serious here, because the Republicans, I think, fairly confidently predicted that young people were disenchanted with Obama, and they weren't going to vote for him. And nobody expected the Latino vote. I mean, it just kind of like, I mean, you may not agree with that, but it appeared to most people that it just kind of like came out of nowhere. So why don't you start with it, Cristina?
Sure.
I mean, what is going on with the Latino vote in America today, and is it growing?
Well, I think it's definitely growing. I think the question was whether or not they were going to be engaged in a way that they were going to come out and vote. And I think, pollsters, they run their numbers and they interview and survey their folks, but they aren't there on the ground. And I think once you are on the ground, you can see the various ways that the political campaigns were engaging their voters. You know, one of the campaigns was trying to expand the electorate, as they did the last election, and another campaign was trying to, you know, just get their base out. And so I think those two strategies went head to head, and there was a winner, and that was the Obama campaign. And I think they just had a really good strategy to engage Latinos, to engage women, and to engage young people.
So you're saying it was going on, but it was flying under the radar. The lamestream media didn't see it.
I think it was just because you know, it's very nuanced. It's in the way that a volunteer approaches the door when they're canvassing and what they say. It also has to do with how many phone calls they're making, and so, you know, having visited various campaigns this election season with students, you can kind of see a little bit of a difference. I mean, everyone was very passionate at both campaigns to get people to volunteer, to get people to vote. But I think in the end, there was a particular strategy in how they were going to engage voters that really, you know, won out the Obama support.
So let me just throw it out. Were you guys surprised to see the numbers when they came in on election night?
No.
Not at all.
No.
I'm surprised Romney made it as far as he did. He's like Herman Munster without any of the likability. You know, if it was a Fred Gwynn, you know, the guy who played Herman Munster, if it was Fred Gwynn and then a Paul ticket, I might go for that. But I was just really startled to see he made it as far as he did. You know.
Now, did I hear that you actually did not vote?
I did not. I did not.
Ah, okay.
I did not
So
vote for
welcome to this table with all these actors.
Sorry, yeah.
I'll let you guys have it.
Hey,
yeah.
I'm on your side. That's why I wore the shirt, just so y'all know.
Well, to go off of that,
Yeah.
I interviewed a lot of on-the-street students, and a lot of people feel that their vote was not going to matter in this election, or that they were uneducated. And that fact is a little nerve-wracking when you think about it. Look at all the issues that were campaigned within that the debates, and to not really understand what exactly their influence is or what their vote counts for in this election is a little shocking.
No, absolutely. That's definitely something I heard a lot.
So did you elect not to vote?
Absolutely, yeah. For me, it comes from a very specific instance of growing up. It was the whole Gore versus W. Bush debacle, where I wasn't old enough to vote yet. I was almost old enough to vote. I knew I would have voted for Gore. He won the popular, and they gave it to W anyway. So I don't know if a program that was around, kind of like Cristina and Perez's program, was around to catch me early and be like, you know, I know the first cut is the deepest, but let's go forward, you know, let's stick it through, then maybe I would have been a voter. But it really got me at a young age and ruined it for me. And I don't vote for the new M&M color, I don't vote for American Idol, and I don't vote for the president.
Wow.
You know, it's just like I feel like my vote is about as valuable in each one of those races.
So don't vote, it only encourages them.
I'm not saying that. That's the thing. Like, I believe voting is a privilege and an honor and something that's totally beautiful and in America totally unique, our process. I totally get behind people who want to vote. I'll take you to the polls, you know, I'll drive you over there. It's just not my cup, but I do appreciate it's freedom incarnate, you know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing. And I think non-voting it's a choice too. That's a major misconception. It's not a non-choice. It's a choice to not vote. You know what I mean? We are the silent majority. My constituency is people of all ages, races, creeds, walk of life. We are 2/3 versus the 1/3 that's eligible, that does go ahead and vote. So it's a very diverse group. And it's hard to represent that group as one person because there's a magnitude of opinions and sides coming to play there. So,
But
You know,
sorry, you go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
But do you feel that you understand, you're educated about what your vote would have mattered? Like, would it have mattered in this election had you gone out and voted? Do you feel that way?
I mean, we're talking about something, no, I don't. Like, the singular vote is hard for me because of that, where I came from, that Gore versus W. Bush, where the singular vote doesn't matter. It's how the electoral plays it, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel like less than a pawn in it. I feel like, you know, the dust you put the chessboard on, you know what I'm saying? So to speak.
But it's just so shocking to see so many people in our age group who are like, well, my vote doesn't matter. What's the point of going out and voting? And that's kind of, It's sad. And the thing is, like for women, for African Americans, I mean, for all of us, we've fought for that chance to vote,
right.
And then you're not taking
right.
that opportunity.
Well, but I mean, it is your privilege and it is your option, and it is you as an American citizen who gets the right to choose whether or not how you vote,
right.
or if you even want to vote.
Definitely.
And I think it's maybe it's more of a statement piece kind of thing to not vote. I mean, there's people who don't vote from pure laziness. Don't get me wrong.
Right,
I would not consider myself in that grouping, though. I made a conscious choice. Like, I know who I supported in the race, and I'm definitely there rooting for him.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Barry Obams, you did it, baby. Thank you. You know, we're stoked to have you again. But like, I don't know. I just couldn't get in it. It feels very personal, and to get your feelings hurt like that, it's like a big breakup. You know what I mean? I don't want to get my heart hurt again.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, but I think it's time to get over it.
Girl, tell me. Church.
So here's where I come at it. I totally see on a national election how one particular vote in a particular state like ours might not matter. I can see that.
Yeah.
Mathematically, rationally, it makes sense. I'm of the belief that you vote every time. But local elections, local issues, you can make a really big difference. You know, when half of Chicago voted in the last electoral election for the mayor and for the alderman, you know, why is it just 50%? It should be the whole city. This city is so political.
Yeah.
We should have every person voting, you know, at least 75%. That way we can say, as a city, this is who we chose. But when it's only 50%, and that was high, and that's high in comparison to many other cities.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's just frustrating.
I mean, it's high compared to the national average, right? It's a third versus two-third non-voters, you know. Roughly.
Well, I mean, if you want to actually take a moment just to look at some numbers, I just happened to write some down. The 18 to 29 cohort, which is what we're talking about when we talk about young voters. Okay, that's the demo. 18 to 29. That was 20% of the electorate in this last thing. So that's not bad. 60% of them went for Obama, 37% for Romney. But here's where it gets really interesting. There are 46 million of these 18 to 29s in America right now. They're eligible to vote. The seniors, who we always hear about running, the seniors make the decisions because they do all the voting, they represent 39 million. So 39 versus 46. So right now, the way the mouse and the snake is working in America today is that young people they could be in control. People 18 to 29 could outvote seniors. Now, I'm sure that all the seniors who are sitting on their Social Security don't really necessarily want that to happen, but it could. And so there is really an argument for young people wanting to organize around a certain number of things. I mean, you know, I don't know, just maybe legalization of pot or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you know, Paris, I wanted to ask you. It's a little embarrassing asking the black guy about the black people, but you know, we're going to do it anyway because we're friends here now. So, Reverend Al Sharpton on MSNBC said that he believed, and I'm grossly paraphrasing him, but he basically said that he also was concerned that African American vote in the United States was going to be low for Obama, but the thing that got them off their butts was the attempt to suppress the vote, what was perceived as an attempt to go to all the places where lots of black people vote and try to knock that number down. And that caused a real reaction all across the country, because you did see the black vote was very strong. Were you hearing that? Do you buy that idea?
I think partially there was a large pushback. I mean, you hear and you see the voter suppression, and you see that they are trying to suppress groups in certain areas. So that pushback wasn't a surprise, but there's also a large number of youth who voted not because of the pushback, but because they genuinely did care. I think that caught a lot of people by surprise, but I mean, from the people that I know and the people that I talked to, they were informed. I mean, every debate, there were discussions being carried on about the debates and what was said and what was prevalent. You know, the first debate when Barack Obama wasn't at his strongest, I mean, people were people were alarmed, and those
Freaked
discussions
out.
did happen, and youth particularly were wondering, okay, what's happening? But the fact that pushback happened, it played the role, but it wasn't the majority on why.
So you have a different view then. It was a factor, but it wasn't the big driving factor.
I mean, I think that youth, especially that 18 to 20-year-old, I know me personally, those youth who weren't able to vote the first time Barack Obama was elected, they wanted to, have their voices heard. So it was important for them to get out and vote this time. And then those who were able to vote the first time felt as though that Barack Obama's job wasn't finished. And to just have him be one and done would have been a disservice to this country and to the youth in this country.
Now, both of you guys were too young to vote in the 08 election, right?
Yes.
Right? And you guys just barely, like by a year or so. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, we are talking about these are the people who are, well, maybe we have a little bit of a skewed cross-section here because we've got very involved people and very knowledgeable people. But I guess the question I want to ask each of you, maybe we could just like go around the table. If you think it's important, and I don't know if you do, but if you think it's important for more young people to vote, what would you tell them? What would you ask them to convince them to vote if they didn't vote last time?
I would definitely tell them, think about what you would like your future to be like. Think about going to college and being able to pay for college and getting Pell Grants and MAP grants, because the other side wants to cut that funding, and getting loans is already hard enough, and who wants to be in $50,000, $100,000 debt to get a good education, especially with the job market being where it's at. And also thinking about the job market, you want to be able to get out of college and have a job and not working at a McDonald's or a fast food restaurant with a degree. So I would tell youth to think about how you would think 4 years from now and how you want to see this country and how you want to see your life being changed. So, yeah.
Well, for me, the one thing that I really preached the most to a lot of people on the street was the healthcare system that Obama has placed. You will be placed under your parents until you're 25. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. I mean, women's issues, abortions, birth control, those type of issues are being tackled by President Obama's administration. And the fact that when you get injured or you're hurt or, you are always going to be secured underneath Obama's Affordable Healthcare Act. And I feel that is really strong in this day and age, that we are, 2012, and we are now getting healthcare for all of our citizens. That is shocking.
For the end of the world, yeah.
I know. It's mind-boggling. I think that is one key issue that not many people really understand or have really looked up enough to understand that was a key issue.
Should we just skip you, or you want to get
I just want
to
build off what Katherine said. It's just, key issues. Be informed. That's, I think, is the best advice for anyone in any situation, specifically voting, because it's a major issue. You need to know, go to alternative news sources, go to a lot of news sources, get it from the internet, get it from print news, get it from television, get it from your friends, get it from your family, hear all the sides you can before going in and making a decision. I think that's the best advice you can give to anyone, is just be informed,
I think I would say, regardless of who you prefer in the past election, I think the reason to go out and vote is because you want to make a change in the issues that you care about. And, a lot of people think, well, if I want to make a change, I have to go out and protest, or I have to organize and be an activist, and that is absolutely the case. But you also have this other system that's already laid out for you that you can use, and that's the electoral system. And, people are making decisions for us, and we have to make sure that those people that are making decisions for us are the people that we want. And if young people want decisions made with them in mind, then they have to go out and vote. They have to say, we are going to hold you accountable. We have large numbers. We can vote you out and we can vote you in. So we need people to vote.
Dakota just raised the question about looking for sources of news, and that kind of triggers something for me, because this show is Chicago Newsroom. It's largely about the news, but it's also about how we get our news and how the news business works. And I just have to take the opportunity, since you're here, to ask you about this. I want to know how you get your news. Is there anybody here who has purchased a copy of the Chicago Sun-Times or the Chicago Tribune in year 2012?
No.
No, you have not.
No.
None.
Yes.
One.
Yes.
Oh, but you're sort of in the business.
I'm like, I have to.
Right. You have to.
I purchased them all.
Right.
New York Times, Chicago Tribune,
Okay.
the Daily
All right.
Mail. Yep.
Have
the
any of
Times.
you accessed their websites?
Yes.
Yes.
Even
so,
though you have to subscribe.
Right.
Well, you can get the first paragraph.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll
Right.
Google it later.
So you're willing to freeload the news off of their websites if you
Ken,
if
it's
you
like
can.
it's like you know me.
Well, you, by the way, are a musician, so
Sure, yeah.
you probably post your stuff right to the web, and people steal it all the time.
I
right?
hope so. God
Yeah,
willing.
very
Yeah. Burn it around. Pass it around,
yeah.
please.
Yeah, but wait till you get to be Sting's size, then see if you like it. When,
Man, I don't know what I'd do if I was Sting. Probably get a swing set in the backyard. I don't know.
all right. So, live, as it happens, television. When's the last time any one of you watched actual real-time television on a TV?
Like nightly news, kind of.
Yeah, anything. I mean, it could be, I suppose a Bears game would count, but it'd be, something that is happening, that you're watching the program as NBC or CBS is telecasting it.
Sure, quite often I would say.
You do?
Yeah.
Last
I'd say-
week.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I there's a few shows that I watch online. There's a few shows that I watch on TV. I was on the TV for the debates, but more and more, if I can watch it on my computer,
Yeah.
and watch it on my bed or on my sofa or in the kitchen table,
Right,
like it's a lot easier as well.
I mean, I guess we're really sort of categorizing them a little bit differently because, like, I use the example of like a Bears game or something. Those are things that everybody wants to watch live as it happens. But something that's not so much appointment TV, like a hit TV show or a drama or a sitcom or something. Is anybody watching those as they're transmitted?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I'm a TV fanatic.
Really?
It's something about it's something pure about it. I mean, yeah, I can easily go to my computer and sit in my bed and watch it, but it's something about sitting at home and watching in front of the TV. It's relaxing. It calms me down.
Yeah.
But there are a lot more people that I know who are they don't watch TV. And there are plenty of friends who say, I don't watch TV. I don't watch the news.
Don't watch it at all.
They don't watch it at all. It's just collecting dust.
Well, I didn't even bother to ask if any of you watch the 10 o'clock news or the 9 o'clock news.
Well,
I think we already know
do.
that.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, I watch all news stations. I mean, I feel like I'm a little biased because
Yeah.
I interned for CBS,
Right,
but I mean, your best bet of getting an unbiased point of view is to watch them all, not just CNN, BBC, ABC. You need to watch them all and really get a grasp of what they're doing.
You work at Channel 2, right?
I'm a little biased.
Right.
Sorry.
No, I'm saying it's like how does it feel? I'm assuming that you're like everybody else, and that most of your friends and cohorts might not even know what Channel 2 actually even is.
Well, yeah, and that's a shame because when you really think about it, my fellow colleagues who are journalists within my school, I have to ask, where do you get your news? Other than a newspaper that they give you for free in our department, do you watch the television? Do you listen to NPR? Do you listen to news organizations? Like, I am a huge fan of McLaughlin Group. I love it. But like the thing is, they don't watch broadcast news stations. The majority of the time, they are getting their news from podcasts or online.
Okay, so what is? How do you guys define news? What is news?
I mean, I'm pretty traditional. I think the most out there I've gotten with my news was during the teacher strike, and I was, on my Twitter following WBZ's updates because I would get it to the minute, whereas, rather than waiting till 5 o'clock to hear whether or not there was a deal or not. But, listening to the radio, I wake up to National Public Radio in the morning, which is pretty traditional.
So you actually listen to a terrestrial radio station?
Terrestrial, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Anybody else here listen to a terrestrial radio station ever?
WBZ.
WBZ.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Okay. Apart from that, has anybody ever? Hold on. Has anybody here ever listened in the last, say, 3 months or so, to a commercial radio station?
Yes.
Which one?
96.3.
98.7.
WBBM.
Chicago's classical home.
Chicago's
Chicago's classical
okay. All right.
home.
So you actually listen to music, radio. Then.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
They're in the pledge drive. They need our help right now. Whatever you can get. You can get a mug, you can get a sweater, you get Chopin's greatest hits.
Yeah. I'm going to go listen to some music.
Yeah. But I do like terrestrial
Not
radio.
by choice.
Do you own a radio?
Yes.
A device that picks. I have to
Yes.
explain this to you
Yeah,
because I know you're only 20 years old. It's a device that actually picks up wirelessly.
Is that the thing with the antenna?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a
Not the
dial.
old TVs though with the bunny ears.
Right. So you have one of these.
I have one, but I don't. I listened to the radio in my car the other day, but that was only because my iPod died.
And do you have a television?
Yes,
You
yes.
said you like to watch
Yes.
television. All right. Okay. All right. So Catherine, I'm sorry, Cristina, do you own a television?
Yes,
A
but just
device that can
recently.
actually receive television signals.
But I don't have cable.
Okay.
So
all right.
I have 14 channels. I get the news, some of them, but because of that, I have to watch Netflix all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's another way of getting.
Hulu.
What about all these kind of lifestyle issues? Does anybody here shop in brick and mortar stores, or do you do all your shopping online? The clothing that you're wearing right now. Did you get any of it in a retail store? Did you actually go to a retail store and purchase it?
Yes.
All
Yes?
of it.
Yes.
Really? Okay. All right. Well,
I got hand-me-downs.
Yeah. You're a musician.
This comes from
so-
our forefathers,
Right,
actually.
That's why I wasn't looking at you. But I mean, I assume that your life is migrating almost by the hour, more and more online. Is that not true?
Well, they have more deals online now. I mean, look at Cyber Monday. I mean, that was only a couple of years ago that they brought that into the idea of you're getting better deals on a Monday than on the Friday, the Black Friday. I was like, this is crazy.
So I'm just feeling so jealous here right now because we're down to like a minute, and I really want to go for another hour. I'm really thoroughly enjoying this. So what do you guys have to say to guys like me? I'm 63. What do you want to tell me and all the people that I represent, all the old folks?
I would say, talk to young people more often, because I think there can be a generational gap of just, talking to each other. And we refer back to our stereotypes of each other. And I don't think that everyone that we know is stereotypical. So I would just say, talk to some young people. Keep the lines open.
Yeah. Okay. And listen to Animal City.
Listen to Animal City. Yeah. I'd say if you got to trick them into liking it, tricking them into liking it. I might not vote. And I might not bet on the horses, but I do like a day at the OTB. You get your cheap coffee, you get your roast beef, and you watch the results come in. You can trick kids into liking it. It's high drama. It's theater. It's look at this Petraeus thing. Like that is the penultimate soap opera.
Right.
Days of Its Lives wishes it had a plot line.
Oh yeah, ain't that
So politics is fun.
Guys, we've run out of time. I'm so sorry to tell you this. I do want to just make one other little quick observation, which is this thing we were just talking about retail and the fact that Black Friday is now starting on Thanksgiving Day. Come on, just stay at home, all right? You have been watching Chicago Newsroom on CAN TV. It's a community service, CAN TV. You know that. You can find us here on cable, but you can also watch us online. Look at that right there at this number right here. You know what I mean. I'm Ken Davis. Thanks for watching. I'm old and out of here. See you later. Bye.